to talk about networking and what I've learned about building powerful networks after 50. So let me first say and be real clear, networking after 50 is different. What that means is if you in midlife, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, how you establish and maintain relations, networking, looking for a new job, wanting to move up the ladder in your current job, want to become an entrepreneur, networking in midlife is different. So today, I'm going to share with you what I've learned about how building powerful networks after 50 can not only be different, but something that you can excel at. And one thing we know, it really in midlife isn't about shaking hands and collecting business cards anymore. Your time and energy are your most valuable assets at this stage in life, and how you network should reflect that and use these assets in a way that makes a difference. And so, building meaningful connections, focusing on quality over quantity, and being intentional about where you invest your effort are some of the keys, some of the secret strategies in networking, building powerful connections in midlife. For those of you I haven't had a chance to meet, and again, I'm welcoming uh, our community from Instagram for the first time on this live stream. Want to say hello to everyone else who is here. Those of you I haven't met yet, I'm Dr. Geneva, a leadership strategist and success coach. And let me tell you, I've spent decades building networks that have raised over $100 million for business and community causes, created partnerships between businesses and communities, and open doors for leaders at all levels. Now, early in my career, I was trained in how to build relationships across diverse sectors, businesses, government, nonprofits, and the community. And I learned how to bring people together to transform neighborhoods and create real change. So the organization that I worked for was responsible for working in the community to make neighborhoods, schools, communities better. And to create that kind of transformation and solve problems like homelessness, youth unemployment, lack of childcare uh, options, and various other social problems in order to create change and influence uh, the solving of these problems and bring together different actors across the community who could make a difference, you had to know how to establish relationships. You had to be able to build meaningful connections. So we were literally trained on how to connect with others, develop meaningful relations, build those relationships so that they mattered, have various liaisons and memberships in different organizations, etc. So I learned at a very early part in my career how to network and network in a way that mattered and brought about change. But let me tell you, even though networking is something that I just don't talk about, I've actually built my career and done it and pivoted and moved through major life changes and transitions through it. When I came into my midlife, I noticed that networking was different. And I had to readjust my whole strategy in order to make the kinds of connections I needed to make to be successful in my career, to move through different transitions, to really have the kind of relationships that I needed. It had to be a little different. Now, let me tell you, I've been talking about networking for a while, and some of the common advice that I've given is helpful. Some of the advice you'll find by just Googling and talking to people and reading is helpful. And I've written many articles on this subject. I've shared plenty of these tools and tips before. But today is something different. I want to focus very specifically on how you build powerful networks in midlife. So that if you're in your late 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, and you're looking to switch careers, move up the ladder, start your own business, whatever it is, and you in that middle age, this conversation is for you. And I want to be real. Growing your network after 50 isn't just about meeting people. It's about making the right connections and still being able to open those doors that align with your goals and your purpose. And one of the reasons that I'm so excited about this conversation is that I can tell you I've just put together a Smart Talk success system, which is a complete networking guide for those of you who are high achieving women leaders in particular, and you want to up your networking. And I've put together this system for Black Friday. So it's a Black Friday special. So if any of you think you might be interested in it, or you're planning to or wanting to create those meaningful connections in 2025, drop the word network in the comments or send me a quick DM and I'll make sure you get the details on that. So again, listen up. If you're in midlife and you're navigating a career transition or stepping into a bigger leadership role or redefining what success means for you, these insights for networking and building powerful relationships after 50, this is what you want to hear about right now. So, the first lesson that I learned about creating these powerful networks when you're in your 50s and beyond is to have a game plan and set goals. Yeah, it still matters. It matters even more in midlife. Now, you know that networking without a purpose is really just socializing, which is cool. You know, you go out and you socialize and have a good time and party. Oh, that's good. But if you're looking to change a career or to expand your influence or to start a new business, then you don't just want to socialize. You want to make connections. And you see, when you're in your 50s and beyond, your time is too valuable for just socializing if you want to accomplish one of those career goals. You got to know why you're networking, whether it's finding new opportunities or deepening relationships or exploring a career shift. And so this matters because when you're over 50, you're also navigating most likely transitions in life. You know, you're balancing stuff going on at home. You got changes occurring in your own life, in your own body. Uh, and there are transitions, and whether you want to advance in leadership or explore new career paths, things are going on. All right. So then that means that your time and energy are limited. So every networking opportunity needs to count. Do you understand what I'm saying? Say yes in the comments if you get what I'm saying about how it be different in midlife than it was when you were in your 20s or 30s and you were going out to all the parties and socializing all the events and collecting business cards or what have you. Your time and energy are limited. And at this stage, networking with a purpose is not just efficient, it's essential for you to stay on track and create the opportunities you want. So, have a game plan, understand why you're networking, make sure you got your goals in place, and you understand what it is you're doing and why. The second lesson that I've learned about building powerful networks when you're in your midlife is saying no to being everywhere all the time. Okay. So let's pick up again on what I said about when you were younger, 20s, 30s, maybe early 40s, you wanted to go to every event, join all groups, and always be on. Mhm. Well, as you mature, you can't be doing all of that. And so you want to be very intentional about where you go, what you do, who you see, what connections you make. And so it's really more about quality, not quantity. It's not about, ooh, I got all these business cards. Look at all of these cards I got on my Rolodex is full. Now, of course, when I say Rolodex, I know I'm aging myself. That's okay. But it's not about filling up that Rolodex. So you want to focus on the spaces and the people that align with your goals and your purpose. And this matters because you are balancing a lot in midlife. Got your work, family, everything else in between. So you don't have time to waste on events or connections that don't move the needle or don't matter and are just there to just show up. You don't have time for that. So, focusing on the right opportunities at this stage in your life really conserves and protects your energy. This is important and lets you build deeper, more meaningful relationships that support your career and goals. And so it's about making smarter choices with the time you have. So how do you do it? Well, you choose 1 to 2 high value events per month or quarter. And you go to those and you actually make strategic decisions about where you're going to go. The days of running around and going everywhere and being every place and being seen everywhere, they're over. Really focus your time on these high value events, meetings, occurrences during the month. And before committing to an event, I want you to ask yourself, will this help me grow and achieve my purpose? Or is it just another obligation? It's just another thing to do. If it's not a clear yes to that question, it's a no. Okay. So remember, say no to being everywhere all the time. That's a lesson to not only build more powerful networks, but to use in your midlife. The next thing that I invite you to think about if you're in your midlife and you're looking to build robust networks is to not be afraid to follow up. even if it seems intimidating. Mhm. Yeah. See, following up makes makes a difference because it shows you're serious and intentional about building connections. And many people miss out on opportunities because they hesitate to take that step, whether they met someone at a networking event, um, or they saw a speaker that they admired at a conference. And there used to be a time, and I know I was guilty of this, and I even knew better, but I would just go to these events and meet these fabulous people and all of that, and then be sharing that information with people. Yeah, I went to such and such and I met this person and we chatted about this or that. And then I'd move on and wouldn't do nothing about it. And I'd miss opportunities. Well, when you're networking in midlife, wanting to stay relevant, not be invisible, you really can't afford not to follow up. It's so very important. And for those of you who think it's being pushy, it's not. It's really about showing that you're interested and you're proactive. And most people are busy anyway. And so sending a thoughtful message helps them remember you and see your value. And listen, we as women, sometimes we hesitate to follow up. And let me tell you what I think it is. Well, I know what it used to be with me, and that is that sometimes I would hesitate to follow up, particularly if it was a person very powerful or someone I really wanted to meet and I did get the chance. I wouldn't follow up because I thought I'd be ignored or I'd be seen as a bother, you know. Now let me tell you, in midlife, as you get old, forget that. You're not a bother, and most likely you won't be ignored. And then sometimes those very few times, if you are, that's all right. You move on to the next one. That's that's the experience and wisdom that midlife be bringing you, and that's the experience and wisdom that you need to strategically use as you're networking. So really following up positions you as confident and intentional. And these are two qualities that really are essential in leadership and professional networking, especially for women over 50, because you know how it is, ageism is still around, and the thought of as you get older, you lose relevancy and you maybe are a little invisible, etc. So showing up, following up is about being intentional and with confidence. So how do you do this? So for someone you've met directly, send a follow-up within 48 hours. Set a time frame. You could do 24 hours, 48 hours. I wouldn't go past 72 hours if you can, but put a time frame there. So you're going to send a follow-up. And of course, reference your conversation, who you are. You could say something like, "It was great meeting you at the event yesterday. I enjoyed our conversation about leadership transitions. Let's connect on LinkedIn." And that's a note you can write or an email that you can send. Now, for someone you admired and thought a lot about at a conference or something, like a speaker, but you didn't actually meet them, I want you to reach out to them too. This is a gold mine, I'm telling you. You're going to reach out, even if you didn't meet in person, and show appreciation for the things they said in their talk and ask a specific question. For example, I attended your session at the Women's Leadership Summit. Your point about smaller peer groups really stuck with me. What's one tip for starting one effectively? Trust. People get that kind of question, particularly if they've been talking about a subject that they enjoy in life, like and are an expert in, they most likely will respond. So I want you to use this technique, whether you've actually met somebody, shook their hands, gotten a business card, said we should connect. You can do this for when you go to conferences or summits or meetings where people are talking, or you see someone and you didn't get a chance to meet them. You can always follow up in this way. And don't be at a loss for what to say. This is why I put together my bundle that's going to be available for Black Friday, because in this bundle, I give you actual scripts, words to say, that when you go to these various events that work. First of all, they work and they're simple, and you can take one or two of them and put them in your head, remember them, and then practice them and say it. So again, if you're interested in upping your networking game, or if you feel a little hesitant about, I don't really know what to say, or you think you're an introvert, put network in the comments or DM me, and I'll make sure you get the details about this Black Friday special. This is my first one that I've done, so I'm excited about it. But I had to do something that I really believed would bring real value, and believe that would bring real value, because people are always asking me about, how do you network well? How do you build powerful connections? And particularly me, given my experience that I've been doing it for so long. So I'm really excited about the bundle, but also being here with you right here and now as I'm sharing the lessons that I've learned about how to be powerful in building relationships and networking in midlife. So here's this one. I want you to listen very carefully to this next way that you can build powerful relations if you're over 50. And that is to create your own networking opportunities. Uh-huh. Yeah. Now listen, you don't have to wait for someone to host an event or form a group or bring people around the table. You can create that space yourself. And this is real talk. One of the reasons that I wanted to transition and fulfill a lifelong dream of being an entrepreneur and running my own company was because I wanted my own platform so that I could help, particularly women leaders, not only self develop, but get the results that they wanted to transform into all that they wanted to be. And so I wanted my own platform for that. And it was interesting that when I made that transition, I began to think about, well, who am I going to network with? What kind of groups do I have to belong to? And how am I going to connect with this person or that? And it occurred to me, well, everything from online presence to creating events or what have you, I could create my own platforms. I could do my own live streams. I could write my own articles, and you can too. And let me tell you why this is such a powerful strategy, is because you've been there, done that. If you're in your 50s, you got a lot to say because you've got the wisdom, the experience, the insights, and you've been through some things. So you can, in fact, share practical tips and things that work. So you can create your own networking. You can create your own master class, whether it's a dinner or a virtual meetup or a professional roundtable. You can be the one to bring people together. And this is especially powerful for women in leadership roles who want to shape conversations that matter and want to have an impact, which many of us in midlife really want to do. A lot of times it's about legacy and the impact we can leave. Okay, that means I need a sip of water. Okay. Mhm. Okay. So you have the power, bottom line, to drive meaningful professional networking by creating your own spaces. Okay. And hosting events also positions you as a leader. So it's like a double whammy. You can create your own networks, you can build your own powerful things. And in doing that, you position yourself even as more of a leader. And so, how to do it practically? Well, host a small gathering focused on a specific theme or a specific issue, have coffee or dinner or a virtual discussion. And what you'd say is, I'm organizing a conversation for women in leadership to share strategies for navigating transitions. Would you like to join? Start with 5 or 6 people and let it grow. And remember that this could be a group of people that you know, but then they know people who you don't know. And so as you get started, they can invite those people to this space that you've created. So, one of the most powerful lessons I learned about building robust networks in midlife is to create your own network. Okay. And you know why it matters for us um, when we're at this stage in life is that sometimes waiting for the right networking opportunity can feel so limiting. I mean, you know where you are, it's just limiting. And taking this initiative really does put you more in control of your own connections. And that's what we want at this stage in life. That's who we are. It's not really what we want. It's who we are at this stage in life. We are more in control of our own being, our own destiny, and we want to self actualize. And so, why not create the networks that we want? Okay. So, it's not just about attending events, it's about shaping conversations and influencing issues. Okay. And then this next one that I want to give you, I want to invite you to think very carefully about because it kind of goes across the grain of what you've heard. I want you to stop saying, let me know how I can help. Dr. Geneva, what are you talking about? You've preached, and everybody preaches, and the literature says we need to help. We need to establish meaningful relationships. We have to have a giving mentality. And so we approach relationships not as transactional, but mutually beneficial. So, what do you mean you want us to stop saying, let me know how I can help? And we hear it all the time, let me know how I can help. But here's what I'm saying. After 50, vague offers like that rarely lead to action or connection. So, how can I help is vague unless you couple it with real specific ways that you can help. So, you with me at this? I want you to understand this. because it's about clear ways to contribute. And at this stage in life, it's not just about saying how you can help or how can I help, but it's about bringing something valuable and specific to the conversation, to the table. And the beauty of it is, if you in midlife, if you midlife woman leader, and I know you've been through that, you can bring plenty of stuff, that wisdom, insight, and everything else. So so hear what I'm saying now. Instead of leaving the other person to figure out what they need from you, take the lead. Use your expertise, connections, and insights to offer something uh, tangible. So, for example, instead of asking, how can I help? Try, I know someone in that field. I'd be happy to introduce you. Okay. And this is a very direct approach. And it matters because your value lies in your experience and the network that you already have. And when you're intentional with specifics about helping, you stand out as an action oriented leader, someone who's got it going on, someone who's a helper, someone who's a connector. And that makes your connections in turn stronger for you. So here's some specifics. Here's how you can do it. When someone shares with you their goals or challenges, don't stop at, oh, that's interesting. How can I help? Pair that with something specific. Would it help? I hear what you're doing. Would it help if I connected you to a person or a resource that you know could be helpful? Or you can say, that is wonderful. I've worked on something similar. Let me share what worked for me. So, do you see? It's not just the helping, it's giving something specific. So, that specific action. And oftentimes, here's the other thing, oftentimes, when you ask people or say to people, well, how can I help? They don't have a clue. They don't know. They can't come up with ideas. So that's why you're going to suggest an idea like, have you considered reaching out to a particular organization or learning about a particular topic? And then you follow up with, well, I'd be happy to make that connection for you, or I'll be happy to help you get started. Get it? So the old adage advice about the 4 words that make a difference in establishing a relationship. How can I help? I want you to add to this a specific action. So, how can I help? When you was younger, because maybe you really didn't have any specifics or you hadn't been around the block to know what they probably could need or use. But now you in your 50s, you in your 60s, you know a thing or two. So as someone is talking to you about issues or challenges or things that they have, someone who you want to connect with on a deeper level, and they're sharing with you about industry trends or situations they've been involved in, you can specifically help with specific actions, bringing your wisdom and your experience and your insight to the table and using that as a helper so that you're helping not just with words, but really making them actionable. So those are the things I wanted to share with you today about the difference in networking over 50. I hope this has been helpful for you. Again, networking over 50 is different. It's about building connections that align with your goals and priorities, because, of course, you got that game plan. And it focuses on the relationships that matter because you're giving true, specific help to someone. You're intentional about what you're doing. You have a goal in mind. You're attending high value opportunities, and you're creating your own networks and networking opportunities where you can build your own relationships to make your next chapter the best ever. And so, if in 2025, building a powerful network is on your agenda, one of the things you've got to do is get my Master Networking Strategy Guide. That's going to be a Black Friday special. I'm telling you, this is a guide. I put a lot of the things that I've used in it, templates that can help you go to an event with what to say and how to act. And I actually put some videos in that are part of a master class that I've done, and this is in the package. And so it's going to be a really cool thing. So if you're interested in elevating and doing something different for your network and building more powerful, robust connections and relations in 2025, put network in the comments or DM me, and I'll make sure that you get the details for this Black Friday special that I'm going to do. So I'm so delighted that everyone has been with us. And so out there to Instagram and all our friends. I don't know if there are any questions or comments. Let me check. Karina is in here helping me. So let me know if there's anything. I see we've got a ton of comments. So I'll just say good morning to all of you who I see out there, Sean and Dr. Pierre. And stay tuned, for I had a fabulous conversation with Dr. Pierre, and we're going to Orma. Oh, wait, stay right up there. I had a fabulous conversation with Dr. Pierre on leadership and transitions. You're not going to want to miss it. I'll let you know when that is. Orma Smith, oh my goodness, how are you? She was my younger children's guidance and teacher and everything wonderful. That person that made a difference in my children's life. Hey, Elaine, I'm so glad you've joined us. And Janice, how are you? It's so good. How you doing? Grand risings to you. And just so good to see all of you here. It's such a pleasure. I hope you've gotten value from this conversation on networking. Please leave networking in the comments if you want to dive deeper and get my guide, which is the bomb. Drop the word network in the comments, or you can always DM me. Many of you DM me. Yvette, oh, I just love you being here. Thank you for your comments. And so, folk, thank you for being here. Sean, all the way from Spain, Madrid. Networking, yes, Yvette, is as important as transition from education back to healthcare. Oh my goodness, you need to talk to me. We need to talk. If I can be of help to you in any way, that is so important. Going back into healthcare. And is that my soror, Peggy Brown? That's my girl. How you doing there, Peggy Brown? Network, okay. It's coming out to you. It's coming out to you, my soror, and you will love this guide. It's right there for you. Scripts that I've used, templates that I've used, and I used networking as a tool to raise over $100 million for different causes. I've established 50 different public and private partnerships. I've been appointed to boards and commissions by every mayor and governor in Detroit and Michigan since I arrived in the city and the state. And I say that because I want you to know, not to be bragging about what I do. No, I ain't here for that. I want you to know that to get most of that, much of that, it's been because I know how to network, because of the tools and strategies I've used. And that's what I've combined in this bundle that I'm talking about, that's going to be really very, very affordable. And that I'm going to be releasing for Black Friday. So that's why I say it, and you all know that, because at this age that I am and out here, it's got to be for the love and the passion for making sure that we as women leaders be all that we can be, and networking and getting to the career that you want, the opportunities that you want, how you want to go from one career industry to another. You need to have connections to do that. It's very, very key to do that. Yvette, well, I am glad that you made a live event, and please come back for more. It is my pleasure. Listen, I'm going to sign off now. I have just thoroughly uh, enjoyed sharing this information with y'all, and I hope you found it insightful, and more important, that you've picked up tips and tricks and tools that you can use to go on out there in 2025 and build that powerful, robust network. See you soon. Love you. Bye.